This is probably going to hurt Nick's feelings. I do not talk about Nick with my therapist. I don't really, and we'll get to this when I address this morning. I don't really have any thoughts about Nick. It's a person I knew briefly in my past. It caused a lot of pain and suffering in my family, as did my terrible decisions when I was around this person. But then again, I don't, because it got me a lot of great things. Like I have a lot of really positive, awesome things in my life because that all went so wrong. You know, it might have got me away from other toxic people and brought me back to my family, and has certainly made me, you know, watching his miscues have made me a better father and a better partner. And I got into therapy after the whole thing, and that has been a godsend. I recommend it to anyone struggling. I don't think about him. I know that's not reciprocated, but I certainly don't talk to my therapist about him. Funeral director says my lost interest equals notorious Shuley dick rider. No worries. I don't know. Last time I talked to Shuley, we were cool. He thanked me for what I had said about the ESO thing and the CP stuff. The Shuley and I stuff has never, I don't think it's ever really been like hostile. I think we've made fun of one another before, but I don't really feel one way towards Shuley one way or the other. I figure good luck with his show, and he'll probably say good luck with mine. That's about it. Let's get to this morning, shall we? Unfortunately, I know what this morning was. And I know, because of not only knowing this person personally, but also observing them since, something bad happened. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to do the dozens with Nick. Like I said, my life is far better with him never being in it. And so I'm not going to sit here and do the dozens and get into that. That's a losing predicament for me. I think mentally, psychologically, I don't need to get mixed up in it. It's where it my relationship with Nick is where it needs to be in the past. So, like I said, I don't harbor ill will. I don't harbor anger, animosity, hostility, anything like that. It's just done with. It's just over, and it's in its proper context. I think you guys have heard me talk about April as well on this show, saying that I really hope she gets out of that toxic situation. Not that it would have been good living with me. I think her and I were very bad for each other in retrospect. But I've said before that I hope she gets out of there, rebuilds her life with her parents in Litchfield, then, licks her wounds, heals, figures out what's going on up here, what caused her to get to this point, and then moves on down the road and builds her own life. I really think she's capable of that. I think at her best, she can be a very smart, resilient woman. I don't think she's at her best in that situation, unfortunately, but she's in the proper context in my life, which is in the past, lessons learned. I like that. So as far as Nick coming into the chat today and then his subsequent blow up on Twitter, where he said a lot of things that I don't think are helpful to him, what it looked like to me, and I saw other people say this, and I know they're kind of joking, but they're really not wrong. I think I hurt this man. I think it's a weird thing to say, but I think I broke his heart. And I think he's still very upset about that. I think there's one thing people have noticed about him is that he hasn't really fully taken responsibility for anything he's done wrong. And I think a lot of that gets shifted onto me. I think he still very, very much blames me. No, triple N. I didn't say that part. But it just, to me, this morning struck me at, and I'm not going to be mean about it. Other people have been mean about it. That's for them. Something bad must have happened, and he's spiraling a bit. He must have gotten some bad news or something bad happened in his life, because you see him respond this way, and you see him get very erratic when it's the ruling that went against him in the Monograph case, or bad news, in personal life, family life, legal life, whatever. When bad things happen, a meltdown usually ensues. And I know it sounds corny, but I hope he pulls out of it. There's a lot of people that depend on him, and I hope he can pull out of it. It did seem like a hurt man lashing out. And again, I've hurt this man. I broke this man's heart. He obviously is still, all of his interactions online seem to center around me. And I don't think that's necessarily healthy. I don't think that's a good thing, but we're all on our own journey. And I think what you saw out of Nick today was a hurt guy. I think there's a lot. I hate to be this guy, but I think there's just a lot of stuff that probably goes back 35 years, maybe to like 6-7 years old. That's where a lot of our trauma is first established. Nick does seem to have a little arrested development. Maybe there's some things that need to be exercised, but he was not well today. And I hope he gets well, because like I said, there's people that depend on him. And being in your pushing your mid-40s and still doing things like this is never going to be a good place for you to be. Physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever. So yeah, whatever went wrong for him today or yesterday or over the weekend or whatever, I hope he finds some kind of peace from it. And as far as today goes, yeah, that was heartbreak. That was a lot of anger and hostility coming out today. It was a lot of lashing out. And, I'm not going to play the wonder what it is game. Like I said, my life is better off with that in the past. But look, the guy's got a lot on his plate right now. The guy's going through a lot of shit. And he's also doing it while not coming clean that he ever did anything wrong or bad that he should be ashamed of. And you're never going to fully grow from that if you don't do that. But that's my take on what happened this morning. Chevrolet JB has another idea. He says, you touch another man's dick, it's forever, Aaron. Gay twister in all caps. Oh, my God. We're never breaking gay twister, are we? I don't think we ever are. 225 is the number today. MN Vikings with 199 says, what's the new Nick news? Have a good night. There is none. He was in the chat this morning, and he was having a hard time, and it really did seem like he was lashing out. And again, people in the chat saying jilted lover. It seems that way, but I'm not saying that to be insulting. I'm saying that because that's how it reads. That's how it looks to me. And then he's making excuses for a guy who says awful things about people's children. That's not exactly a good look as a father, and especially the things that he's charged with and the tests that we've seen that have come out and all that stuff. I don't know if that's necessarily a good judgment call as a parent.